After more than 30 years, this truck is about to get the detail it's so desperately needed for decades. The exterior is filthy and covered in mud everywhere, while the interior is full of nasty stains and a thick layer of dust. Buckle up as I work to transform this dirty old truck into something the owner can be proud of after decades of daily abuse. Okay guys, well as I get to work on the pre-wash rinse here, there is no question this is going to be a satisfying job today because there's a lot of mud on this truck. But that also means that I'll need to be extra thorough so I don't miss any. Now as I move a little lower here, the fact that this truck is sitting so high is definitely going to make my job easier, but for the moment I'll just do what's exposed here, and then once I'm done the rest of the truck, I'll come back to the underside and spend some time making sure it's perfectly clean. Moving to the wheel well now, and while I'd normally say that I need to focus on spraying out around the inner lip really well to avoid rust, well, that ship has sailed a long time ago. There is unfortunately quite a bit of rust on all the lower edges of the truck, but I suppose this is a good example of what happens when you don't clean and maintain a vehicle, especially in a climate where roads are salted. Okay, as I continue working my way around the truck, no, you guys aren't having deja vu here. This truck does in fact have 2 fuel tanks. I'll be honest, I didn't even know this was a thing as I've never come across something like this before, but after a quick Google, I learned it was popular on these trucks at this age due to design issues and just offering the convenience of carrying more fuel. There's a switch inside the cab that allows the driver to toggle between tanks, so while it's not really a super practical thing, it is kind of cool. Okay, well since I know a lot of you guys enjoy seeing mud blasted away, I figured I'd run a bit of footage here in real time for you to show you just how long it takes when the mud is really stuck on like this stuff is. You definitely have to have patience in order to do a good job with something like this. Alright, well, moving to the box of the truck where it seems to have its own ecosystem established, and the first step here is to obviously get rid of all this debris, though I am very curious how this much ends up back here. It's just piles and piles of small twigs, leaves, and some grass, along with a few pieces of garbage, of course, and by the time I'm done, I'm guessing it's going to fill an entire garbage bag. Moving back to the underside now, and like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to have to be really thorough here to make sure I can get all the mud off, though given where I've got the camera, I can't see everything that I'm spraying, so while there might be a small clump or two that I miss right now, just know that I always do a visual inspection once I've moved the camera to make sure things are perfect before moving on. Okay, starting with my detail brush now, and with foam covering this truck, it's the perfect time to go around all of the trim, emblems, and gas caps to get any dirt that might be trapped in any of the crevices. Moving to the carpet floor mats now, and of course the best way to clean these is with the pressure washer once I've sprayed on a liberal amount of carpet cleaner and hit them with the green drill brush really well. As you can see, there was a tremendous amount of dirt hiding in them that just wouldn't have been possible to get out if I'd used the extractor. Alright, time to start working the interior of this truck, and the first step here is to obviously get the seats removed, as I'll be able to clean things much easier with them out, And since the seatbelt receivers are just held in by a simple Torx bolt, I'll get those removed as well and then start on vacuuming. Okay, as I work on vacuuming this carpet now, which happens to be really thick, you can probably see what color it's supposed to be. A nice light gray, not the grungy brown color that it is everywhere, not to mention the stains. So after seeing that, I have to say that it's going to be a big challenge to get this carpet looking perfect today, but I am confident I can make some huge improvements at the very least. Moving to the back seat where there's a nice layer of dust, and thankfully it seems to mostly just be sitting on the seat rather than being embedded in the fabric, so that'll make for easier cleanup. Okay, well for the dash here where there's a thick layer of dust, getting this agitated and sucked up right now is going to make things easier for me when I steam it later on. If I left it until then, I'd end up with a lot of dirty water to deal with. So staying in line with my detailing philosophy, I'll try to get things as clean as I possibly can each step of the way. Now as I work on the driver's seat here that I'm expecting to pull a lot of dirt out of, I figured it was a good time to give you the background that I have on this truck. So it wasn't the owner who brought the truck to me, it was his son, as he wanted to get the truck all cleaned up for his dad. He said he can't remember the last time his dad cleaned it and was really looking forward to surprising him with it. Now unfortunately he lives out of town and couldn't make it in to do the reveal here, but I'm sure it was a very special moment nonetheless. Okay, starting on this nasty stain in the back now, and given how long the stain has likely been here, I'm not holding my breath on getting it out completely, but I'll certainly repeat the process as many times as necessary until I don't see improvement anymore, including using multiple chemicals if needed. Seeing what's coming through the extractor right now though, and I can definitely say that I really don't want to know what that is. Here's the full bucket of absolutely disgusting water pulled out of the F-250 today. Gross. Okay, starting on the rest of the interior now, and as usual, I'll use my all-purpose cleaner and steamer to take care of any dirt on the panels, but one tip I have, if you ever find yourself working on an older vehicle like this, is that you need to be really careful with steam. The plastics from older vehicles are not as tolerant of temperature changes as modern plastics are, so when you use steam, it's very easy to discolor them and turn them white. Same thing goes for white lettering around switches and things. You can easily blast the lettering away if you aren't careful. My best advice is to go slow and use short blasts of steam and only as much as is necessary to get things clean. Moving down to the pedals now, and while I work on getting all the pebbles out of the grooves, I wanted to let you know that there is a brand new video out right now over on my other channel, The Yard Geek. This time I'm shifting my focus to winter prep, and that means harvesting my garden, taking you guys for a tour around the yard to see all the beautiful fall colors, starting a huge fire in the backyard, and then blowing out all my irrigation lines. It's a jam-packed episode and one that I'm sure you guys will enjoy, so make sure you check it out right after this one. Okay guys, second last step on the truck now is to use some of my best selling glass cleaner and waffle weave towels to get all the glass cleaned inside and out to a streak-free finish. As a reminder, you can find both items over at detailgeekautocare.com, and I'd highly recommend picking up extras because once you see how good this combo works, you'll need more. Trust me.
All right guys, well 11 hours is what it took to completely revive this 30-year-old Ford F-250, and I gotta say, this truck is looking incredible. Now, if you guys enjoyed this satisfying transformation, make sure you smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and don't forget to check out my other channel, The Yard Geek. There's a new video over there. Enjoy the guitar outro, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.